welcome back to another video. It's DIY time on the van and I can't wait to show you what I'm going to do. I've got an LED light strip, I bought some double-sided sticky tape, I bought some automotive wiring and I bought a dimmer switch. I know, that's what's happening. Also, everything that I've bought in this video, I'll put in a link in the description below so you can go get it if you want to do exactly the same as me with exactly the same things. Hashtag not sponsored. Not only that, after spending a lot of time in the van with my family, I've realised that the plug sockets in the van are not really up to scratch. Now, I'll tell you why a little bit later on in this video and what the fix is, but for now, let's see if we can get this LED strip all set up and see if it works before I even think about installing it onto the van. So, let's see what I can break on the van. Nice. Right, so update, what I've done thus far is just basically brought all the tools into the van and I have cut the end off the LED strip, so I've just got two bare wires, a red and a black. And then I've got my red and black out on the automotive wiring that I've got, because what I want to do before I install anything is just double check A, that these lights work, and B, that my dimmer switch that I've bought also works. I began loosely wiring up the connections so I could check that the LEDs and dimmer switch worked, and in an unusual turn of events for me, I was actually using the correct tool for the job. Here's the moment of truth. Nice. Oh, and it dims. Nice. Right, we know that works, so let's get it installed. Lovely. Once I'd established that the LEDs and dimmer switch worked correctly, it was then time to think about the placement of the switch. So now I've taken this panel off, I need to figure out where I'm going to put this. Now behind here there's all sorts of like strengthening bits and alloy and all that, so you're limited to where you can put it. Now I thought about putting it this high up so it rests flat there, and then I realised that it's about butt height in the bed. Now if I turn over during the night and switch this light on, the whole campsite's going to wake up. So I thought against that and thought to myself, let's put it lower down so it's out of the way. There's more room behind there hole-wise so it can go into there. So all I need to do now is just make a hole into this, and then it can lay flat on there, and hopefully that will make sense. I've cut a hole in the panel now to allow for this to fit, and once that's all done and wired in, then we can start thinking about getting the LED measured up for the top of the van, and you'll see where I'm going to put it in a minute, at the top of the van, and then once that's there, then there's cuttable points, we'll cut it, and then see where we go from there.
3 hours later.
Well, that was a pain in the backside, trying to get the wires through from the outside in and down and all routed through. Now, we're going to show you that, but it's going to be different on everybody's van. One thing that will be very similar is at the back of the van, when you've opened the doors, is there's some bungs, like grommets, that you can take out and you can put wires through and into there. What I have done on mine, because that's where my solar wires go through, is I've put the bung back in again, cut a little hole in it and then put a bit of sealant. I've got both wires now coming out of this hole, which is fine. So this wire here is from the lights that will be outside, and then this wire here is to the power source. As a man, I don't like admitting that I've looked at any instructions. However, when electrics are concerned, I do like to make sure it's done correctly. So after wiring it all up and checking the instructions, it was time to fit the dimmer switch to the wall. So I'm pretty much wired in. All I need to do now is attach these to the battery. I've put some ends on them so then they fit the actual battery terminals, but I'm not going to do that just yet until I've got the light fitting in. Now, the idea is to use some of this double-sided 3M tape. I have got some alcohol wipes just here so then I can get rid of any of the wax that's on there, so then it's going to adhere properly. But I think what I'm going to do first is attach the 3M tape to the back side of this, so I know it's going to attach properly. Now on this light, the light normally on LEDs comes out of the front there, or the front there, but on these LEDs it comes out of the bottom, so out of the thinner side, so that needs to be facing downwards, so then the light goes down and not in your face. That was the idea of getting these particular LEDs. Let's crack on with that and see what else I can break. Nice! Fitting the 3M tape was straightforward, if not a little bit tedious, but after making sure it was stuck on securely to the LED strip, it was time to clean the van surface with the alcohol wipes to help it bond better. Then it was the simple task of attaching the LED strip to the van. Well, that's pretty much the LEDs fully installed. Now, I'm not 100% happy with how straight I've got the LEDs, so I've ordered some more 3M tape and I'm going to redo the adhesive on there when I've got a little bit more time, maybe tomorrow. But apart from that, everything's up and lovely and snazzy. I put the chair back and the battery back, and I left all the lights on, so then I knew if I'd knocked anything off. I've checked the fridge, I've checked all the other electrics. Now that's back. I've bolted the chair back into place. There's just 4 bolts. It's very easy to take off. And now we can move on to the plug socket that I'm going to replace. But later on in this video, what I'm going to do is show you what the LED light strip looks like at night time. I can't do it now. It's too bright. You're not going to see it, so stay tuned to see what that's going to look like a little bit later on. I do apologise if I've not explained anything fully. If you do have any questions at all, just please ask in the comment section below and I will respond. Any more in-depth questions, I'll probably add it to a Colin Answers Your Questions section around a fire pit in a future video. So this plug socket will only work when we're on electric hookup. The reason I've done that is because when the girls were camping last week, they had their phones plugged in, but do you know, with the big like chargy brick things that plug in as well, and when they were plugged in you couldn't pull the bed in and out, so I had to keep unplugging them, put the bed in, plug them back in again. Just became a bit of a faff. Whereas with this, they can plug their USB straight into the plug socket when we're on electric hookup. All of the things that I have bought, again, I'll put in a link in the description below to my Amazon shop, which is where everything is that I've pretty much ever bought for this van. So you can also have a good peruse over things you didn't know you wanted until you saw them. That'll be in the link in the description. Nice. As with all of the electrical work that I do, I have made sure that the power is off and fully disconnected. Taking the plug socket off was as easy as removing a plug socket in your house. Just a couple of screws and it came away. Then it was just a case of taking out the wires and replacing them with a new plug socket before screwing it back into place, fitting the new front plate and testing that it works. Have you seen who's come to help me? I say help me loosely. He just jumped into the van, curled up and went to sleep, and now he's sat on my foot, so I can't really go anywhere. However, I did get the plug socket in and done. That's nice and spicy eye. But one thing to do is to plug into electric hookup just to test it, because I'm not going to wait until I'm on a campsite to find out it don't work. So I'm going to get the electric hookup out, and then I've got a little plug socket that plugs into a normal plug socket, and see how that works. Double check it before we go anywhere and before I start tidying up the van. So let's check that out. Nice. Success! The plug socket worked absolutely fine, including the USB sockets to charge my phone. Well, that's me pretty much done, but I've still got to do the tidy up, and I don't know why. The smallest of jobs, I always create the biggest of messes. So I've got to do that, get the van all vacuumed out and make it look snazzy again, and then we'll do the reveal of the lights when it gets dark. Putting away the endless tools that I'd taken out of my unorganised toolbox had begun, but in true Colin style I then felt the need to give the van a good spruce up, ready for my adventures next week. Those videos will be coming up on the channel very soon, and if you would like to see where I end up, how I get along with the new LED install, and see tours of the campsites I'm staying at, please subscribe to the channel and you won't miss out. Well, that's pretty much it. If you've got this far, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And we're going to clip to the nighttime version with the LED strip on so you can have a look. But for now, I think it's time for a well-earned beer and to sit back and relax in the van, because why not? Enjoy the LED-ness. I absolutely love this LED light. It did attract a few unwanted flying things, but as soon as the fire pit was lit, they soon scarpered. Stay awesome everyone, and above all, be kind.